Coming up on No Pulp, only 4 teams remain in March Madness. We'll tell you who's in, we'll tell you who's out, and we'll tell you who's winning the whole thing.
And Calvin and I will repent our sins to the bracket gods. We screwed up this year.
And we have a very special guest coming to the juicer. Little hint for you, he's got glasses. All that and more coming up. No Pulp starts right now. Are we crazy?
Again, you're going over too many times. I can't with you.
When you lose those games, it's tough for those teams.
Mainstream schmainstream.
I am ready to go to battle.
Welcome into No Pulp alongside Matt Boneparte. I'm Calvin Christoforo. Matt, little teaser. How's your bracket doing?
This is
all right. Too much. We'll get to that.
That was a
coming
teaser,
up
all right.
On the show, that was a teaser. Before we get into anything, though, let's start off with our plays of the week.
Slam down.
Nemhard. Oh, he heaves it. Got it. Oh my goodness. How did that go?
Tyrese Hunter galloping 3-on-1, finishing. Oh, with a big time jam.
With the ball. Down 5. Oh, what a lead. Koloko. Gonna end it with a dunk.
Wong. Look at this. Wide open at the other end. There's a cut by Wong. Oh, count it.
This is the goal right here.
No, shut up. Ivy for the tie. Off the rim, and it's over. This miracle run continues for St. Peter.
All right, so those are some of the sights and sounds, and there's 4 teams left in the tournament. Duke, North Carolina being 2 of them. And as much as the country loved the story of the St. Peter's Peacocks, the nation got what the nation wanted. In his final year, Coach K gets to square off with North Carolina for the first time ever in the NCAA tournament, and it comes in the Final Four. Matt, how much did this one game mean to Coach K's legacy?
Well, it being at such a high stage and so late in his career, I think it's huge. And where he's 50-49 against UNC, so maybe the number gods are wanting him to lose this game just so everything is perfect. But Coach K is Coach K, and he's going to go out there and coach a darn good game. If he wins this game and maybe wins another one, he could really be considered the GOAT and not much of a conversation.
Yeah, for me, I look at it a little bit differently. Look, I think he's already the GOAT, regardless of what happened to this game. So I don't think it means a ton to his resume, because when we look back on this game in 10 years, it'd be great if Coach K leaves on the mountaintop. We'll be in a conversation with Peyton Manning, left out on top. But if he loses this game 10 years down the line, we're still going to think of Coach K being one of the greatest, regardless if he has 5 or 6 national championships.
But how about the taste it'll leave in your mouth if he ends up winning this game compared to having a season where they lost to North Carolina twice in 2 huge games, his last home game, and in the Final Four?
Sure, it would sting, but North Carolina is a really good team, and the 8 seed that was next to their name when they started this tournament, but they've gotten back to the Final Four. How'd they do it?
Well, they did it on the backs of 3 guys, Caleb Love, Armando Bacot, and Leaky Black. Caleb Love can pop off whenever you need him to. Twice in this tournament, he's done just that. Against Marquette, 23 points, 30 against UCLA, in which he had 27 in the second half. Changed shoes at halftime, came out a new man. And how about Armando Bacot grabbing every board? That guy's a rebound machine, and when it comes to Leaky Black, he's got clamps, Calvin. He will clamp up anybody on his side of the floor.
That's Rayshon Leaky.
Rayshon Leaky Black.
For me, North Carolina is so dangerous because they can beat you in so many different ways. You mentioned Caleb Love, you mentioned Armando Bacot, Brady Manick, too, a guy who really stood out in that Baylor game before he got that flagrant 2. Carolina's dangerous because they can beat you in more ways than one. And when they play physical and play big, they're really, really dangerous.
And we'll go from the Final Four to the golf course. Gonzaga, like Duke, was pretty highly rated coming into this season, ranked number 1 overall in the first week of the AP poll. But like plenty of years before this one, the Bulldogs couldn't get it done. This season marked number 19, in which the Zags were ranked coming into the year, and still 0 championships. What happened this time, Calvin? What are they going to pull out? What excuse?
I don't know, because you can go back and look at the players on this team. Last year, Jalen Suggs, one of the best players in the nation, right, doesn't win a national championship. This year, you have possibly the number 1 overall pick. You have this godly recruit in Chet Holmgren. And you look at the numbers there for Mark Few. In 23 seasons, he's lost 32 games in the West Coast Conference. That's less than 1.5 per year. and 0 national champions to show for it, they gotta move. Look, they have to leave the West Coast Conference. It's not gonna happen, right? Because if they go to the Mountain West, I don't know how big of a shift that is.
Well, they'd have to move up into a Power 5 conference, and that would be difficult just because of conference realignment and whatnot. But you said it. It's pretty much the same story every season at this point. Gonzaga gets the best player in the country, whether that's Corey Kispert, Jalen Suggs, Chet Holmgren, Drew Timme, whoever it is. They come, Kelly Olynyk, how about Domantas Sabonis? All types of guys coming at this school, and they never get it done because they don't have the grind of that great conference schedule that so many schools that are in this Final Four have. Talking about Duke and UNC having to go through the ACC, which was touted as not that great of a conference this year. How about 3 teams in the Elite Eight? They were just fine to me.
And who they lose to? Arkansas, a team from the Southeast Conference, and it just means more down there. If a team like Gonzaga goes through a gauntlet like even the Pac-12, which is not going to happen because they're not going to grab a football team, that Gonzaga football team's been undefeated for years. And I don't think they're coming back to life anytime soon. So I think it's going to be really tough for Gonzaga to get over the hump and finally grab a national championship. But let's flip the page here for a second and take a look at the women's side. 4 teams left, and they're all loaded, and they're all run by dynamic duos or trios. Matt, give me your best combo or connection left in the women's tournament.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really liked NC State, but they just got taken out by the Huskies.
Game.
A fantastic game ends in a Huskies win. It's because of the trio they have. How about Beckers, Williams, and Fudd? Those 3 gals are absolutely electric, all scoring pretty good numbers. And here's the thing to me, Calvin. Both Fudd and Beckers were out for a large portion of the year. Williams took it on. The rest of the team took it on. Those players are fantastic that surround them, and now that they're all healthy, they've got to be the best in the country.
Well, it's a good pick if you're aiming for second best, but I'll do you one better and give you the best trio left in the tournament. Lexi Hull, Cameron Brink, Haley Jones. Look, Haley Jones, Pac-12 Player of the Year. Cameron Brink, runner-up for Pac-12 Player of the Year. Haley Jones was the MVP of the Final Four a season ago. They won a national championship last year, but you know what makes them all great? You see all their offensive numbers there. They're all excellent on defense as well. Hull, over 2 steals a game. Brink, 10th in the nation in blocks per game, and Jones also grabs 8 rebounds a game. So they do it on both ends of the floor. That's what makes them so good.
I like that you're trying to take the not obvious pick to be different, Calvin. But the UConn is the right answer.
Why?
Because you've got a team that has 3 different players that are capable of leading it to glory. You've got 2 players, Beckers and Fudd, that were both out for so long. Williams took on that huge load and ended up coming out and having 2 great players beside her, and they were fine while those 2 players were gone. So UConn's got the best trio, Calvin. I get that you like Stanford. You wanted to say, oh, I'm going to get bones with this one, but you didn't. What
am I missing here? You sleep during Pac-12 after dark? Lexi Hull gave you 36 points in this tournament against Kansas.
Sure, she had a great game.
Brink
Couple of
and
games.
Haley Jones, 1 and 2 for Pac-12 Player of the Year.
I don't think that team wins that game against NC State today.
Well, UConn did. NC State, you liked them better. And they lost.
I didn't say that. I said I liked them.
You know who didn't?
UConn ended up coming out.
You know who had no problems in their Elite Eight game? The Cardinal, baby, from Stanford. Look, that's all the time, though, we have for this trio debate. When we come back, Nick Zelaya joins the party, and we're going in the juicer. Bones, Zelaya, gonna be great. Don't go anywhere.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees?
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Welcome to my game, little one. Matt Boneparte, Nick Salaya. The Juicer is what it's called, the name of the game. I will give you guys questions, you answer. Whoever I think's better will win. Are you guys ready to go?
I got a quick question for Nick first.
This, Nick?
How confident are you going to beat me today?
I'm a bit on the edge right now.
You're a bit on the edge? You're not confident? Take notes, kid.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm on a revenge tour right now, so I need to get a big win.
Just rate your confidence. Are you confident?
I'll give you a 7 out of 10.
That's pretty confident. Now, how much you need those glasses to see?
More of a 3 out of 10. I probably can't see.
If you're that confident, take them off right now.
Take them off?
Yep, if you're that confident.
Oh, no. Who's Clark Kent? This guy's Clark Kent?
They're off. They're off.
Oh, no. All right.
It's getting serious.
Wow, it is getting serious. I thought my intimidating open would be more serious, but Matt, bang! Count it! We're going to the juicer, though. Hey, we're going to start with this, and Matt, I'll start with you. On the women's side, who is the best player remaining in the Final Four?
Well, this is an absolute layup, and this player hits plenty of them. Aaliyah Boston from South Carolina. I'm going to take the best player on the best team every single time. Did you watch her against UNC? How about 20-plus points, 20-plus rebounds? She is an animal, all right, Nick Salaya? She's better than everybody else, and everybody knows it. How about Camila Cardoso? She transferred from Syracuse all the way down to South Carolina because she wanted to be on one of the best teams and get some playing time. Guess what? She didn't start a single game because Aaliyah Boston was playing in front of her. An absolutely sensational player.
Salaya, you proceed.
I'm going to go with Lexi Hall, and you praised her a little bit earlier in the show from Stanford. They've got plenty of vets on this team, but Lexi Hall, she's been on a different level in the tournament, and I like to consider the postseason.
Did you get your notes from Calvin on this
season? I didn't actually. These are my own notes. This is the second season, the NCAA tournament, and in this second season, 22 points per game, 36
How
points
many double-doubles? Because Aaliyah Boston had 6 out of her last 7 games.
She doesn't even worry about double-doubles. She scores at all 3 levels. She can score however you need it from deep. She can drive to the basket. She can really do it all, and there's a reason the Stanford team's in the Final Four, and it's because of Lexi Hall.
Look, Nick, I love where your head's at here, but you gotta just play this game simply. And the best player in the country is Aaliyah Boston. She's the best player remaining in the tournament. 1-0. Boneparte off to a great start. We'll flip it though, and Nick, I'll start with you. Name me the best men's player left in the Final Four.
Well, I couldn't say this guy's name at the beginning of the season. It's Ochai Agbaji. I figured it out by now. This guy's ridiculous from Kansas. He's got plenty of weapons around him as well, Christian Brown and David McCormick, but Agbaji can really do it all. He's not a guy that's going to go out there and light you up from deep, but he can get to the basket. He's super athletic. Did you see that dunk? He got 20 feet in the air earlier in the Big 12 tournament. We all saw it. That was ridiculous. Agbaji's leading the only #1 seed left in the tournament, and I think he is the best player. I know Duke's got some good guys over there, but Kansas, you look at the Jayhawks, Agbaji's leading that team.
See, here's the thing about your argument compared to mine. You knew that I was going to go towards the Blue Devils because you said it right at the end of yours right there. How many times? Rank your top 3 Grecian gods in basketball right now. Rank them. There's only one. His name's Paolo Banchero. The guy's 6'10", 250 pounds, pure muscle, and he can do it from any spot on the floor, whether he's on offense, whether he's on defense. It doesn't matter. The Italian stallion from Spokane, Washington. This guy is elite. 17.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, and he does it on defense too. It's really tough to get by this guy because he's built like an absolute Zeus-like character. Paolo Banchero's my guy.
Look, I like Banchero. I really do.
No shot. No chance, man.
He's just a freshman, though. And
what does that mean?
Who do I trust down the line? I trust the experience. I trust the senior.
Absolutely.
I trust Ochai Agbaji
to
be the best player left to lead my team to a championship. I'm going with Nick here, 1-1.
All right, sure.
All right, well, I'll give you a chance to get back in the game. We'll go back to the women's side. Give it to me. Who's your winner?
I mean, this is cash money. I mean, South Carolina, like I told you, has got the best player. And like I already mentioned, they are the best team, Nick. You want to know how many times, other than their 2 losses, which were split by 2 points and 1 point, which was in overtime, how many times this season did they play a game within 5 points?
How many, Nick?
Probably not too many.
1 time! Because they dominate every single opponent, Nick. South Carolina, look up and down the lineup. There isn't a hole. Look on the bench. Everybody's incredible. This team is filled of winners. And they already beat UConn, who I think you're going to pick. 16 points.
How do you know? Maybe I won't pick the Huskies.
All right, don't pick them.
Are you intimidated?
Because that would be a bad choice.
I'll go with UConn. I'll go with UConn Huskies. You know a little bit about that Connecticut connection, but this UConn team, when they get to the Final Four, they're dangerous, regardless of the regular season. They've battled injuries all year to their best players, AZ Fudd, Paige Beckers. They've all dealt with it, but we just saw an hour before filming this, Beckers go off against NC State, dropping 27. AZ Fudd, a 5-star freshman, the top player in her class. She's coming in, making a huge impact. Kristen Williams, a senior, 14.5 points per game. This UConn team is dangerous. They're the only 2 seed left in the tournament, and I think they're ready to bring another chip back.
The Fudd stud is an incredible player. I already talked about how incredible they are as a trio, but they're great at scoring. And here's what South Carolina is great at: stopping scoring. Only 50.5 points against them per game, 3rd in the country.
Nick, I think you got the wrong room here. The filming of The Simpsons is across the street, you homer. Okay, look, it's not UConn. It's the best team in the country. That is South Carolina. 2-1, Matt. Going into the last question, this one is worth 2, though, so you can still win it.
All right. They're opening the door for you.
I'll give you the floor first. On the men's side, who wins it all?
The Kansas Jayhawks.
Oh, Lord.
Simple and easy. The last number 1 seed left in the tournament. This team's got experience, like I talked about, led by the best player in the Final Four, Ochai Agbaji. And this Kansas team, they've really got everything. They've got depth shooting the ball. They've got depth with the big men. And when I look at matchups, they just have the better matchup out of all 3 teams left.
What?
Villanova doesn't have Justin Moore anymore. That team they've got injuries now. I don't think they can stand with Kansas. Duke has freshmen. They have inexperience across the board.
Insane.
Duke, the freshmen never win.
Right,
the freshmen never win championships.
Move on here. Let's move on. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right. Listen to me. I know that you guys think Ochai Agbaji is the best player, and you can have that. Fine. I don't even care. But if you're talking about the best unit in the country, it is the Duke Blue Devils. And here's the other thing I got to remind you of. Coach K's got plot armor, all right? The Scripps, the basketball gods, they want him to get to the end because it's a great story. The plot has Coach K in the finals, winning it all, in the glory. Listen, this is the best Duke team that has been on a floor in a while. I think this team beats the Zion team just because they're so perfect around the floor. They got past them in the NCAA tournament. I think, and here's the other thing. What is Duke great? They've got great glue guys, whether that was the Jones brothers or else. You've got Paolo Banchero this year, a guy that can do literally everything: score, pass, play defense, rebound. A.J. Griffin, Trevor Keels, Mark Williams, Wendell Moore. Everybody can score, Nick.
We get it. You looked at the roster before you came on TV. We get that. We do, right? Here's the thing. I have no idea who's going to win March Madness. I don't. We're going to get a chance to look at my bracket in just a second. What I do know is, Nick, you're way off when you say that Villanova is the easier matchup. I think Duke has the easier matchup with the North Carolina team they need revenge on, so I got Duke going to the finals. I don't know about Kansas. Duke is your winner. Matt is your winner. Look, we have no idea how this would have gone if Nick was wearing glasses, so join us next week for that dramatic conclusion. But hey, Matt, you get your win. You didn't. I don't know how confident you were going.
I was very confident.
And Nick was a 3, so you should have won this anyway.
I respect you, Nick, for taking the glasses off.
You went from a 3 to a 7. It's fun to argue about some 19-year-olds that are a foot taller than us. That's all I've got to say.
All right, and you're on a box too. You can't see that. But hey, take everything you just heard with a grain of salt, because I told you that my bracket was bad. Nat's bracket was terrible. And when we come back, we'll break it all down. You'll see our bracket. You see what went wrong, and we'll give you some advice for the future. You're not going to miss that. Don't go anywhere.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better.
Please, don't quit on me. Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back to No Pulp. I'm Matt Boneparte with the wonderful Calvin Christoforo. Calvin, I'm so happy to be with you today. We're about to do something we really do not want to do. So the viewer, you should be happy with us because we're repenting our sins right now.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, it really is. We're about to look at our brackets from this year. I mean, use any excuse you want, Calvin. These are terrible. All right, these are downright. Mine is atrocious, but yours ain't that much better. All right, I'll tell you what. I've had some good brackets. I've had some bad ones. This is terrible. I mean, take a look here, and you're gonna notice what I did wrong right away.
What?
Is I trusted the fraud conferences. I'm taking Baylor out of that equation because the Big 12's fine. But I really had a lot of faith in the SEC this season. I thought Auburn, Alabama, a couple of really nicely coached teams, they can go pretty far. I think these teams are really good. Nate Oates, Chris Beard, I like them both. And how about Auburn? K.D. Johnson, Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler, a bunch of dogs, but no, they get knocked out. And so does Alabama in the first round by Notre Dame. And then the Big Ten wasn't much better. They haven't produced a champion since 2000, so I was wrong there too. A couple of fraud conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten.
It's just head scratching to me that you have Vermont. South
the Catamounts were great this year. I stand by the Cat. They were. You didn't watch Catamount basketball.
I watched the America East. I guarantee you more than
did you see them crush their opponents in the conference tournament?
Okay, yeah.
You didn't. He didn't see it.
They lost in the first round again. They haven't won a tournament game in a year. South Dakota State
this was the year,
in the Sweet 16. Colgate, the 14 seed.
Hey, listen, I ride with Colgate. All right?
Well, okay.
And they almost won.
Mine's not much better, but I have more pride in mine than apparently Matt does. Look. It started off okay, right? And then
you're a hypocrite.
Once
man.
I got to the
you're the biggest Gonzaga hater I know, and you put him in the Final Four.
I had Gonzaga going. I thought the Chet Holmgren effect was real this year. He's my second He's my second favorite Gonzaga player ever, behind Kelly Olynyk. I like Baylor too. I had Auburn winning the whole thing. I thought Tennessee looked incredible, especially after their opening round win against Longwood. What hurt me was believing in the Jayhawks once again. Got burned by them again. I had Purdue making a run, even though they're hot frauds and lose every year. I got Houston right. Hey, Auburn, Arizona, Houston. Look at that. That can be your lasting thought of this.
It's not going to be my lasting thought. My lasting thought here is that you're a hypocrite because you talk about how much you hate Gonzaga, how they're frauds, and then you pick them to go to the Final Four. So that's my lasting.
Here's the thing. You gotta.
And we both picked Auburn.
You gotta butter both sides of the bread there. If they do well, it'd be like, I picked them to do well.
We gotta give some guidelines to how you should be picking your brackets. All right, the first thing I've got up is the SEC and the Big Ten do not produce winners. We learned this. We know this. Now, do not go into next season thinking they will, because they will spurn you, and you'll be standing where I'm standing right now. And then the second one is the talented Blue Bloods always find a way to win. Duke and UNC, they're up. They got a lot of talent. They're there and picking low seeds for the Final Four. Far too risky. Don't do it.
All right, for me, it's don't overthink the numbers next to the team's names. Set yourself up for success in the round of 32 and believe in the Blue Bloods. Just look at this year's Final Four.
Calvin, that's all the time we have. On the other side of the break, we're going to give you our keys to some of the Final Four games, and stick around. We'll give you our final words. This is on No Pulp.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it. Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How is it? Is it good?
Welcome back into No Pulp alongside Matt Boneparte. I'm Calvin Christoforo, closing up shop here on this Final Four edition of No Pulp. Let's get into those Final Four games, though. We're going to start with Kansas and Nova. Matt, I need a key, I need a prediction, I need a winner.
All right. I think that Nova is going to win this game just because here's my issue with Kansas.
Okay.
If teams lock down Ochai Agbaji, they don't really know what to do. Sure, in that Miami game, they were down in the first half and they came back roaring in the second, but Nova is not Miami. They're going to have to find a way to get Ochai the ball and support him the best they can. And for Nova, this is the time for Jay Wright to prove he's one of the best coaches in the nation. We already know he is, but he can prove he is the active best head coach once Coach K's out of the picture.
For me, this game is really, really tough to beat. Look, I think Nova, if they're going to win, they have to use their experience to their advantage. They've been here before. Gillespie's won a national championship. Do it again. But my gut is telling me Kansas wins this game. And I just look at the emblem on their chest, and that is the Big 12. They were beat up all season long. They played the hardships. A Big 12 winner won it last year. I think Kansas gets it done.
All right. Well, how about UNC and Duke, Calvin?
I'm going with Duke. Hey, I'm going with the Blue Devils in Coach K's final year. Look, I think they're a little inexperienced. You're talking about that. A lot of freshmen. So they could play really well or really not. But I think that loss against North Carolina is still in their belly. They come back and get it done.
I'm going to take Duke as well in this one. I told you they're my national champion. They just got to play team basketball, use all of their assets as best as they can. All right, Calvin, I think you got something to say.
Yeah. I'm going to get to my final word here. And look, the nation got peacock fever, and that was great. All good and fine. The first 15 seed to ever make an Elite Eight, a team that beat both Purdue and Kentucky. That's great. But as much as the world loved St. Peter's run, the country simply overlooked Creighton's run to the Elite Eight as a 10 seed in the women's tournament. Not only did the Blue Jays go into Carter Hawkeye and knock off big bad Caitlin Clark in Iowa in front of the largest crowd in the round of a 32 game ever in the tournament's history, they followed it up with a win against third-seeded Iowa State to become just the fourth double-digit seed all-time to reach the Elite Eight. Although the Jays' season ended with a loss to top-seeded South Carolina, it was quite the run for Creighton and one that's being overlooked by this country.
And this has been one of the greatest editions of March Madness we've ever seen. And the Final Four hasn't even happened yet. Let me just run through a few things that you might have glossed over during this magical tournament. Thus far, we've seen 21 upsets, 15 games decided by 5 points or less, 7 double-digit seeds make it out of the first round, a 15 seed called St. Peter's from New Jersey, whose poster child looks like a used car salesman, and they took down 2 behemoths, Kentucky and Purdue, on their way to the Elite Eight. There's a Coach K farewell tour that very well might end up in a championship, plus an 8th seeded UNC team he'll face in the Final Four that has a brand new head coach and a guy named Leaky that's clamping up anybody who dares venture onto his side of the court. Don't take this season for granted because we've gotten a hugely special tournament.
Hey, real quick, Doug, who looks like a used car salesman, got a Buffalo Wild Wings NIL deal out of this.
That was awesome.
What would be your #1 NIL deal if you had one?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I would support Cheez-Its in any way I can because I just love them.
Mine's a no-doubt, no-brainer, Chick-fil-A. Give me the chicken, give me the sauce. But that's all the time we have on this No Pulp edition. For Matt Boneparte, I'm Calvin Christoforo. We'll see you next time. Make sure to follow us on social media.